I've never told you of AK-47. I've never told you
but
of
you are also saying...
You are talking war.
But you are saying...
When I defend myself against white, racist, and terrorists, if you are scared of them, it's none of my business, Chief.
But you are saying...
Alone.
But
you are saying... of being scared of white people. I'm standing up to them. Yeah. I'm standing up to whiteness. I'm standing to white arrogance. I will never allow it to play itself out in South Africa when I'm a leader of a third political party. The EFF's presence in this democracy is to put racists at their own place. And we're going to do that knowing very well that we're going to be called names because of racist apologists, apartheid apologists, and beneficiaries of racism. So we are not part of that nonsense.
I want to revisit what you said earlier.
Yeah. And show me the war where I'm talking about the war. By saying I'm not...
That's exactly the element.
War.
That's exactly the element.
Hello everybody, welcome once again to AfriPost. I believe wherever you're watching us from, you're doing great. Now, Julius Malema is a notable figure in Africa. And I believe among African leaders, he stands out as one of the most popular and most known politicians in this continent. And what makes Julius Malema quite known? Julius Malema is known because of his way of speaking, his positions that he's been taking all this time. For example, Malema has been very vocal against white supremacism in South Africa. In fact, he says that South Africa can no longer continue to sustain its existence with the white minority holding power over the black majority. Malema has also castigated past leaders for their reluctance in facing the racism question head-on. In fact, in this video that I want to play for you, Malema says that he is not ready to take advice from even Nelson Mandela, even Thabo Mbeki, even Zuma, and even Cyril Ramaphosa right now, because he says that these leaders had been compromised and they could not champion for African cause in South Africa. Malema continues to champion for Africans to self-rule and self-engage in such a way that we can have a united African continent. He does not want a situation whereby white people come to control Africans in their continent. And one of the things that he keeps repeating is that whites performed unspeakable atrocities in Africa, and they do not have any right coming back to Africa and dictating to us what we should do. I want you to take a listen to this Malema interview, where Malema really gave this interviewer a tough time. Take a listen.
Is self-defense allowed by the constitution of this country? Is that what
so it's easy to conclude? So it's easy to conclude that you're going to Senegal armed?
No, when a black man is going to engage in self-defense, you don't know, what if I've got a black belt? Mawashi Geri. How do you know? Self-defense is not a gun. I'm going to defend myself. And you will see there that I can defend myself and it is allowed by the constitution. I'm not Malema. I'm not going to speak like this ANC cowards who are actually beneficiaries of this racism and white arrogance and who have allowed it. They should have dealt with this thing long time ago. They've not dealt with it. Till today, Tony, the people who stormed the courts, the people who banned the vehicles, their faces are all over. Only a person who suffers from bipolar is arrested there. Whoa. When a person says, I'm going to Senegal to defend a building with my body, I've never told you of AK-47. I've never told you of
you are also saying...
You are talking war.
But you are saying...
When I defend myself against white, racist, and terrorists, if you are scared of them, it's none of my business, Chief.
But you are saying...
alone.
But you are saying...
of being scared of white people. I'm standing up to them. Yeah. I'm standing up to whiteness. I'm standing to white arrogance. I will never allow it to play itself out in South Africa when I'm a leader of a third political party. The EFF's presence in this democracy is to put racists at their own place. And we're going to do that knowing very well that we're going to be called names because of racist apologists, apartheid apologists, and beneficiaries of racism. So we are not part of that nonsense.
I want to revisit what you said earlier.
Yeah. And show me the war, where I'm talking about the war. By saying I'm not,
that's exactly the element.
War.
That's exactly the element.
We're in this mess because of people like him, who allowed whites to undermine us like that. You think we can listen to people like him? You think we can listen to Mbeki, to Zuma, to Mandela? We'll never allow that. This nonsense must come to an end at some point. These whites should know that we are not stepchildren in this country. This is our country. We too belong here. And if going to Senegal will cause a civil war, if a man exercises his constitutional rights, that will lead to a civil war, so be it. I'm not talking here from the comfort of my couch in the newsroom Africa offices. I will be in Senegal myself. I will be leading from the front. Do what you want to do. What soldiers? Why should we be scared of retired soldiers when we're not scared of them when they were soldiers? When they legitimately carried guns to kill black people, we confronted them with stones.
Mr. Malema.
Let history repeat itself. Let us confront the same people our parents confronted. Yeah. If that is going to be the case, let it be. We're not going to live in fear here because we think white farmers are former generals. They can go to hell. Murderers, generals. There's too much white arrogance here. You have allowed it because your president was bought by white people. And not only now, from when he was young. He was adopted by a London family which handed him over to the Minel family. Where do you think Cyril gets accent from? Because he has never gone to a white school. He went to black schools in Shawela, later on in Venda, then he went to Teflo. He's got an accent because he grew up in a white family. So they bought him from when he was young. The white arrogance is not only in the farms. All the BEE deals that were signed 10 years ago, all white people are reversing them because they tell BEE people we don't need them. Why? They've got a big BEE partner in the presidency that protects them. How dare does your president go and launch a project in Mooikloof, which is not BEE compliant? Why should these people comply with BEE? So I was saying to the minister, your president, who is adopted by a white family, has allowed these people to develop this arrogance. And we're not going to allow him or you, through your actions, to make white people to be arrogant and want to subject black people to humiliation. Because once you humiliate police, you are humiliating a black state, and indirectly you are humiliating black people. And that pain we suffered during apartheid is resurrected, and we go through it again. They apologize for those reckless actions they took that day in Senegal. There will not be anything that brings us together. There's nothing that we can collectively and jointly ask for with those white racists. That's what happened after 1994. They've never offered an apology. All you did was exactly what you are doing, following nicely well in the footsteps of your grandfathers in the ANC. Let's go beyond and build a country with reconciliation. Reconcile with people who never said sorry. Reconcile with people who never apologized for their reckless actions and killing of black people. If we allow that nonsense to happen there, it will go all over. You know what these whites do every day? They wake up and block N1. When the taxi people tried to do it, the soldiers shot them because the taxi people were black. They wake up and block N14. Nothing happens to them. No permit, no nothing. This Malema once said to me when we were marching to Pretoria, he called me to his office and said to me, Julius, you cannot march on the M1 because the M1 is the road that connects everything. So once you block N1, you've got a potential of blocking an ambulance in Varambad, which has got nothing to do with your march here. Why has Malema not offered the same advice to the white racists who are blocking N1 every time they wake up in the morning? Last from Paris, Klipdrift and Coke.
Kebima Patso did the same just last week. He blocked a highway.
It doesn't have numbers that one. How can you block a highway with a crutch? Kebima Patso has got no people, has got no numbers. There are very few MK people. Those drunkards that are following Kebima Patso everywhere have got nothing to do or the same capacity as these farmers who are always blocking N1 here in Gauteng. I've never seen any police action against them. With you,
I'm making a case to you.
Any policeman
yes,
who's involved in the stealing of stock theft or any other form of crime must be arrested. I mean, we must be very proud that a general has been arrested in the police now. That should send a strong message to the corrupt police. But only because earlier on you said we must not divert, a similar case is in Newcastle, where white farmers steal black people's cattle. Because when the cattle go grazing in their farms, they arrest those cattle and they never release them. When they report them to Newcastle police station, black police officers say, we cannot arrest a white man, you know that. When they run over kids, as they do their racist things in that town, and the black people go and open a case, the police say we cannot go and arrest a white man, you know that. I'm not making this up. Peggy Cele was told. The same way you are saying Peggy Cele was told about white people losing cattle. Yeah. In Senegal. He was told of black people losing cattle in Newcastle, where he was told he's scared of white people. Till to date, there's no action against white farmers identified in Newcastle who stole the cattle of black people. I must come here and speak nicely in defense of white people who say they lose cattle when we're losing cattle every day, and we don't lose cattle only, we also lose life, and they never get arrested. So the government is in the hands of incapable people who are obsessed with self and have got nothing to do with the people of South Africa. I mean, they can fight amongst themselves and say all types of things against each other. None of them has said anything against that thing there. None of them have, in an angry manner, tweeted the way they are doing when they are threatened by their colleagues that they must be removed from ministerial positions. They never tweet the same way against white people, but they tweet against each other like that. They never tweet against terrorists that are there in Senegal. None of them will tweet or even be in Senegal against the display of racism. But talk about removing them from ministerial positions, you won't sleep that day. Because they are obsessed with self. There's no need for that at all. There isn't. The people who must be protected in South Africa, who the war has been declared against, is women and children. Is the rape victims, not the farm people. My man, let's go and check. 1 year, 21,000, more than 21,000 murder cases were reported. You know how many were in the farms? Not the farmers, in the farms. 97. Not even more than 100. And you want to say to me, this is a national phenomenon. It is not. It is an isolated incident. One is too many, I agree. Let's deal with murder decisively. If you want to talk special attention, if you want to talk special teams brought together, special courts, special prosecutors, special police, focusing on special issue, that issue should be rape, that issue should be murder of women and children and the elderly gogos. Those are the people who are the victims of the current crimes in South Africa, not farmers. I'm saying to you 97. So if we're to go to the farmers, it's actually going to be way less than that. You want us to create a special unit for them because they are white? It will never happen. Maybe the ANC government will do it. When the EFF comes in, it's going to destroy that type of a unit and refocus that channel where it is needed the most. There is scientifically, there is no any form of evidence that farmers are being finished in South Africa. It's not true.
Now, if you've listened to Malema keenly, do you really support him? What's your opinion about Malema's view of Africa and the white people? Because, you know, South Africa is one of the only countries where there is still a larger percentage of whites living in that country. In fact, I would say that because of its late independence, after that period of serious apartheid issues, South Africa retained a lot of white settlers. And this is the cause of this constant engagement and altercation between Malema's team, EFF, and the white minority who are there. It's quite a drama that is there, but people have different opinions. I don't know what you think. Please tell us down in the comment section. Do you really support Malema's view? What is your opinion about his actions and his mode of action, the way he does things? Do you like his style of politics, his brute way of putting words across, and his stand against whites and their control of Africa? Please remember to subscribe to this channel. We love you and we hope you are going to have a great day. Thank you, and let's meet in our next video. Bye bye.